Hello and welcome to the Draft Central YouTube channel. We're taking an all-female focus today ahead of the Under-19 AFLW Championships. Of course, I'm your host, Michael Alvaro, and with me is Peter Williams, Chief Editor at Draft Central. How are you today?
Yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into all things South Australia and looking ahead to the AFL Women's Championships coming up very, very soon.
Of course, as Peter alludes to, South Australia is the squad we're going to have a look at as it's just been announced. So we're going to take you through all of their fixtures, of course, the players to watch from each age group, and a little bit about how they're going to play this year. So, we're going to get stuck straight into it. All right, of course, South Australia kicks off this year's Carnival this weekend on March 28 at Flinders University Stadium against Western Australia. So that one's a very exciting fixture, Pete. What do you expect from that clash?
Yeah, I think it'll be really fascinating to see the two contrasting styles. You know, you've obviously got South Australia. They've played a very defensive brand over the first few weeks. There's been some challenging weather conditions and everything like that. They've been playing a lot in the wet. Where over in WA, they've had some scorching heat as well. So it's going to be a bit of a contrast in that regard, where we know that one team will definitely try and run it and use the space, and the other one, while they've got the speed and the skill, they've also got the defensive nous to back it up, if you like. So it's going to be real fascinating to see who can get on top in that battle.
And then we move up to Queensland. Obviously, the most exciting leg of the Carnival, as always, will be up there, bringing to you all the coverage. And South Australia takes on the hosts, Queensland, on April 12 at Metricon Stadium. And then 3 days later, they've got the Allies. So obviously a mix of, the remaining states there. Pete, just quickly, what do we expect from those games as well?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when South Australia play Queensland for the inside midfield battle. Obviously, Queensland's got a couple of really big inside midfielders who use the ball and are able to shovel it out of the contest. So that's going to be a real good challenge for the younger midfield, if you like, from South Australia. And then obviously both teams have some real good talents up either end. So it's going to be a real fascinating battle from that perspective, and certainly on Queensland's home turf as well.
Absolutely, and we're going to move straight into a few players to watch, of course, in the 2003 birth category, being those top ages, the 18-year-olds who are draft eligible. So there's a few exciting ones on this South Australian list. The first one's going to be a tall, someone who's going to play a really important role in this team, Pete, in Zoe Prowse from Sturt.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, one of the top ruck prospects across the country. She's in the AFL Women's Academy, one of two players from South Australia. And, not only is she able to tap the ball cleanly or punch it clear, she's got some great second efforts and work rate at ground level, lays some fierce tackles, and got a lot of speed for a player, sort of 177 centimetres. And she plays taller than that. Unfortunately, an injury to Brooklyn Craft, who'd be the backup ruck for South Australia, has left them a little short. So she plays an even more crucial role through that ruck. But she's got such good athleticism that she's played as a midfielder at SANFL women's level. So it kind of shows just how much talent she's got and the versatility she's got as well.
And looking, keeping on the theme of AFLW Academy members, next is Gypsy Shermer of South Adelaide, a pretty exciting athletic type there, Pete.
Yeah, definitely. She's got some elite speed and great athleticism across the board. She's able to run down players or, try and take grass, if you like, along the wing. She'll play half forward or on the outside, depending wherever they need her. And, she's just got some good footy smarts, like playing as a forward in her bottom age year. She's able to, kick some highlight goals or take some great marks, and now she's sort of just building other aspects of her game to be a really consistent midfielder, and certainly one of the key players for South Australia in there.
Of course, another midfielder who is going to be an exciting one to watch is Zoe Venning of West Adelaide. Of course, Pete, we're going to expect her to run through the engine room with perhaps even a couple of West Adelaide teammates.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Venning's that little bit different to Shermer. Obviously, Shermer still goes in hard, but she's got that outside sort of prevalence, if you like, where Venning definitely cracks in and wins that hard ball regularly, and she can spread to the outside, can play forward if she likes as a lead-up forward. She did it as an all-star game last year. Reliable, can hit the scoreboard, but definitely the contested ball and her competitiveness, as well as her consistency across not only sort of your speed and agility, but also endurance. She's a high-level runner, so she's certainly got a lot of endurance there, and she's going to be crucial because she'll be the older one, if you like, in there of their midfield brigade, as we sort of alluded to with a couple of West Adelaide teammates who are a bit younger.
And well, we do have a good West Adelaide representation in the squad, but there's a good spread amongst all the SANFL teams. The next one's from Central District with Madison Lane. Tell us a bit about her, Pete.
Yeah, she's one that's really impressed me this year. She played as a forward in previous years, and she's now gone back and been that reliable defender. Reads the game really well, great in the air. She's got good positioning, but what she does so well is when the ball's sort of on the ground level, she's clean with it and able to dispose of it when she's coming out of the defensive 50. She's just been getting better and better. In the last couple of weeks, she's been really, really impressive for Central District and certainly one that's caught the eye. And being a leader at under 16s level, she now steps up to the under 19s level, and certainly one who, thanks to the start and being able to consistently play through SANFL Women's, she's certainly been one that I think will translate that form into the National Carnival.
Another one who's had a bit of a purple patch of form of late in the SANFL, as we mentioned, is Brooke Tonin of Glenelg. Tell us a little bit about the speedy winger, Pete.
Yeah, obviously playing up either end for a little bit, making a debut last season. She's one that's stood out this year coming into that Glenelg side and being that sort of permanent outside midfielder, if you like, running on the wing. She's able to really spread well and kick the ball long and loves to sort of take the grass and take the defence on if she could. She's been named at halfback for the first game against WA, so that'll be great to see how she goes there. She's played there before, so more than comfortable, and it shows how much depth they've got in the team. But she's certainly one that I think, despite being sort of a lighter-bodied player, she knows how to, tackle and take the game on. So definitely one to keep an eye on throughout the carnival.
Just about rounds out the 5 players to watch, at least 5 of the few we will be looking at the carnival. We'd be remiss not to mention a few of the underages, the 17-year-olds and even down to 15-year-olds in this squad, because it's a really talented team for the future as well. So, Pete, run us through a few of the names to keep an eye on who will likely feature in this team for years to come.
Yeah, well, we've got the 2 West Adelaide players in Keely Kusterman and Lauren Young, obviously 04 and 05 births, so Kusterman's not available till next year. She's usually that half-back wing with, great skills, great balance, decision-making, doesn't need to win a lot of the ball to have a huge impact, just knows where to go and how to use it and hit teammates over short, medium or long distances. She's been named in the middle, so they've gone with the West Adelaide flavour, as we've alluded to join Vening and Young in there. And obviously Lauren Young is sort of, if you haven't seen her yet, you're going to certainly know who she is by the end of the carnival. Just 15 playing in the under-19s. They had to get a special exemption for her to play because, well, basically she was too good at state level. So it would have been a little silly to be playing at under-17s level, but she's just a great talent, able to mark overhead, play through the midfield, defence or forward. Just reads the ball so well in flight. Like, first game she played in midfield and topped the league in disposals, rebounds and marks on debut, and then played through the midfield some more, and then recently last week she managed to go forward and work hard, take a few contested marks and kick 3 goals. So she's can do just about anything, and certainly being that 179, she's actually one of the tallest players in the squad despite being a midfielder. So she's hard to match up on, and certainly one to keep an eye on how she compares to the older talented players that are going around.
Well, the South Australian team certainly sounds like it's in good hands for the future, and we're really excited to watch those players all in action. I guess to round out, looking at the strengths of the squad, I'm sure you've heard, the themes of speed, skill, and the like amongst all the players, at least at the top of our list. So, Pete, to recap, what are the sort of key strengths of the side that you're really looking forward to watching?
Yeah, I think from a gameplay perspective, they've got a lot of rebounding defenders. Like, you've got Tamsin Morris, Hannah Prenzler, Maddie Lane and Alex Ballard back there, and we've already mentioned Tonin. Like, those players, what they can do is they can win the ball and use it well coming out of defence. So they're not only able to intercept, but they can drive the ball forward. So it'll be interesting to see which ones sort of have the licence to go and which ones will have to play more defensive. They might rotate it around. They're dual players, which will be fascinating to see. You've got the defensive pressure that they offer, but when they kick it inside 50, they've got, Tia Huynh and Georgia Swan. They're both really aggressive players who can tackle, and they've got speed to use the ball and rove to the taller players. Although in saying that, they don't have a really tall forward line. They've basically got Jade Halfpenny as the sole sort of tall, if you like, and she's sort of that 175 range. So she's not a key position compared to some others, but she's got that fantastic speed and athleticism, great overhead, went into the midfield last week. So they've got a really rolling, versatile midfield that I think we'll see in time. So she's definitely one to keep an eye on. And obviously Talita Buethke and Gypsy Shermer, as we've mentioned, they've got great speed traits. And then you've got the skill of Kusterman, Morris and Prenzler, Lane, as we've sort of briefly touched on. They can all use the ball. So I think what they're going to be able to do is they'll be able to rebound out of defence and get it inside 50 and then lock it in. That'll be the key. They might not have the key targets per se to be able to take marks, but we know that both Halfpenny and Young in particular are really strong overhead forward of centre. So I think they'll be the targets to look for. And if they can lock it in with their defensive pressure, then they're going to be hard to get it back out for opposition defences.
Well, plenty of names and some exciting game plans to play out, I guess, for the South Australian squad. We're very much looking forward to watching them in action all together. As I said, the National Championship starting this weekend with South Australia's game against Western Australia at Flinders University Stadium. So if you can, tune in or get down to the ground and watch the next generation of youngsters run around. But that just about wraps up our preview of the South Australian squad ahead of the Under-19 Championships. Pete, it's been really good to have your analysis and you joining me today.
Yeah, really enjoyed it and looking forward to the championships.
Absolutely, but until the action gets underway, make sure you stay tuned to all the Draft Central channels and we'll catch you next time.